The job of the kidneys is regulation and reabsorption, not excretion. So the blood is filtered by the liver. The liver takes the waste out of the blood and sends it to the feces where the waste is removed. Now, waste is also removed from the blood with the lungs. You get the air down to the lower lungs, and then there's an exchange. The air provides the blood with the dark ether energy from the sun, and with oxygen, of course, O2, and the blood releases the CO2 waste and water in the exhales. Now, after the blood is filtered by the liver, right, the newly filtered clean blood goes to the kidneys for reabsorption, not for further filtering. The liver does the job of filtering. The kidney's job is to reabsorb nutrients from the newly filtered blood after the liver filters it. So when your kidneys are not functioning properly, you're not properly reabsorbing nourishment from your blood. So after the blood goes to the kidneys and the kidneys reabsorb what they can, then it goes to the bladder, where the bladder serves the same function and reabsorbs nourishment from the newly filtered blood from the liver. And then everything that's excreted is excess. Everything that is in the blood that the kidneys and bladder can't absorb gets excreted as excess. And then normally in nature, you would return that nourishment back to the land with the, not to say expectation, but the expectation that, the environment is going to nourish you back, because everything is an even exchange. It's the Tao. It's the one universal law. So the problem that we run into is that our kidneys are not properly absorbing, and our bladder is not properly absorbing. So when you dehydrate the kidneys and the bladder, when you consume dehydrating food between the hours of 3 p.m. and 7 p.m., you're dehydrating the whole body basically at the time of day during which these two organs, or three, it's two kidneys, these three organs are cleaning themselves. Now, if the kidneys are not clean and the bladder is not clean and the walls have, they're gunked up, they got plaque or calcified lymph on the organs, they can't properly absorb because there's basically snot in the way. So that's why when you eat dehydrating foods, especially in the afternoon, the next morning, your pee is going to be very bitter and very dark. And that's because the nutrients that your kidneys should have absorbed last night didn't get absorbed because they were gunked up. So you excreted them because you couldn't absorb them. So that's why when your pee is dark, you really should be drinking it. And it's a misconception that, I eat bad, so my pee's dirty, right? No, it's not. Your pee is never dirty, ever, no matter what you eat. Unless you have some kind of bladder infection or infection of the urinary tract. That's really the only reason why I wouldn't drink your urine. But if you don't have an infection in your bladder or in the urinary tract, then there's no reason why you shouldn't be drinking your urine. So going forward, when your pee is dirty or seems to be dirty, it's darker and more bitter. Those nutrients they're like bitter herbs. The bitter herbs kind of reflect that essence of the bitter urine. So the nourishment, the nutrients that are bitter, you need because your kidneys didn't get to absorb them. So you should be recycling them back and saying, hey, kidneys, you missed this. You should be reabsorbing this again this time. And then, also your urine is, if you're drinking it fresh, it's already at body temperature. It's already structured by your liver, kidneys, and bladder. It went through your whole body, so it got structured. It's structured by you for you. So when you consume any kind of liquid, your body has to adjust the temperature and it has to adjust the structure before that liquid can actually even hydrate you. So urine is the fastest hydrating substance that you could possibly put in your body. It is you already. It's blood plasma. It's filtered blood. Your urine is cleaner than your blood. Waste only comes out of your body in your feces, in your shit, through your skin as sweat, and through your breath, your exhales. Waste does not come out of the urethra. And the same thing goes for, ejaculatory liquid. Your semen is not waste either. You should not be ejaculating unless you're trying to reproduce. To waste the seed is just as bad, worse than wasting your urine. But either way, you're wasting your life force by excreting either one of those unconsciously. So keep a jar with you. Start peeing in a jar. You can use your urine topically. You can use it on your skin. You can use it in your hair. You can drop it in your eyes, in your ears. You can drink it through your nose, your sinuses. Everything that you consume, everything that you eat, everything you sense really gets processed in the sinuses and through the olfactory nerves. The sinuses connect directly to the brain, directly to the pineal. So when you drink your urine through your nose, you're directly hydrating your pineal and your pituitary and your brain as a whole, and you're cleaning out your sinuses more effectively than literally any other thing you could possibly do to clean out your sinuses. And that's because the urine is more electronegative even than distilled water. So, right, distilled water from a distiller, or like rainwater. And don't do anything with rainwater these days, especially if you live in an area near a city. It's definitely chemtrailed up and all poisoned. But anyway, when you drink your urine through your nose, the electronegativity attracts the positively charged snot and mucus and calcified shit stuck in your sinuses, all the gunk that's in there, all the fucking grease from all the greasy foods you ever ate that you never cleaned out your sinuses from, will all be pulled out of your sinuses. And your sinuses are huge cavities. They're in your forehead, they're in your cheeks, and you'll feel them get so much emptier, and you'll feel the swelling go down in your face from cleaning your sinuses from drinking your urine through your nose. And at first you won't be able to straight up drink it and swallow it. At first you're gonna have to just snort it and then try to prevent it from dripping. Don't blow your nose. Try to sniff it up and allow it to drip down to your mouth and then spit it out. And then continually take deep, strong exhales through the nose and then spit and repeat. So, a couple extra things about the urine is that I always say everything that you consume, you're merging with its energy. So anything that you consume, anything you merge with, will take from you what it lacks. So I've said this in videos before, sea moss or other things that are high in minerals. People are like, okay, this thing is super high in minerals, we should be consuming this. 92 out of the 100 minerals in the human body, blah blah blah. Well, the body is 102 minerals along a carbon chain with hydrogen and oxygen. So if you're consuming something that's not mostly water, or that doesn't have all 102 minerals, then you're losing something to that thing that you're consuming. And especially if you're consuming something that's not from an organism, or something that's not like organic, attached to carbon. If it's not along a carbon chain, then it's not living and you can't use it anyway. Like the minerals if you ever see a mineral in an ingredient of like a food, like on the ingredients list, or vitamins or vital mineral combinations on the ingredients list of a product or a food, that's the metal non-organic version. That mineral is not attached to carbon. Your body has no idea what to do with that. It just builds up in your joints, in your brain. So your urine is the only thing that you can consume, because all the food is fake, that has all 102 minerals. That doesn't lack a single mineral. And they're all attached to carbon. They all come from the body, so they're for the body. And I'm not going to start telling you to eat your shit because it comes from your body. because the shit is weight. Your feces is waste. But your urine is not. Your urine is excess nourishment. So there's HGH in your urine, human growth hormone. So if you're trying to build muscle, you don't need to eat dead animals. You could drink your pee, and then you lose all that karma, and you don't have to absorb all the energy from the tormented animals, and you don't have to support an industry that enslaves millions and probably billions of innocent animals and breeds them, and it's rapes them, and it's pretty fucked up, the living conditions. I won't get into meat too much on this, but most of you guys listening to this already get the point when it comes to the dead animals. But even like vegan protein, like you don't need to be going OD with the hemp seeds and the pumpkin seeds and like the nuts and stuff. You can drink your pee and build muscle. I mean, there's protein in your saliva. You don't need to consume protein externally. So there's a bunch of other stuff in your urine, but basically it's all every nutrient is just different combinations of minerals and carbon and water. So in addition to that, there's loads of stem cells in your urine. Stem cells are cells that don't have a specific orientation yet, so they're not specifically blood cells or nervous system cells or cells of specific organs or muscle tissue cells or whatever. They're just cells that can be used for anything because they haven't been designated yet to something specific. So your urine contains lots of stem cells, and as you age your urine, the longer you age your urine, the more the stem cells actually multiply in the urine. So when we're talking about regeneration of cells or regeneration of tissue or organs, if you have some kind of injury or scarring or anything that you want to regenerate an organ, or regenerate a part of the body, you can use your urine to do that. There's nothing more efficient for that than your urine and proper diaphragmatic breathing. So, you got to tap into the parasympathetic nervous system. All cellular regeneration and growth occurs in the parasympathetic nervous system, but your urine gives you all the tools that you need to do that. It's, instead of having to create more stem cells to regenerate tissue, you can just consume your own stem cells you already made instead of wasting them into the toilet. Your urine is only waste once you put it in the toilet. So the same thing goes with scarring or acne or skin conditions. To regenerate the skin, you can use the urine topically, and then of course aged urine would be more effective. For most people, their colon, their large intestine, is super dehydrated and gunked up. So as we do enemas, we should be doing enemas with urine and aged urine to help regenerate the lining of the colon so it can properly absorb and properly do its job. And then same thing goes with the kidneys and the bladder. We consume the urine, and it helps to clean off the kidneys and the bladder so that they can absorb more efficiently and more properly. So eventually, the more you do UT, right, you're training your kidneys and your bladder to reabsorb more, because you're basically putting in what the kidneys and bladder missed, and you're saying, do it right this time, make sure you get everything. And eventually, over time, as you continue to loop and loop and loop and loop, and then you get into the aged more, and you're drinking more and more aged, your kidneys and bladder are going to get better at reabsorbing. I forget his name, but there's the breatharian dude from India who just died recently. He lived to like 100 and something, and he lived like 70 years, like straight up breatharian, no food or water or anything. And they did tests on his bladder, and his bladder would be full, like he had to pee, and he wouldn't pee, and they would test him, and within a couple hours, his bladder would be empty because he completely reabsorbed all of the nourishment from the urine, from the filtered blood plasma. So when your bladder and kidneys are actually working properly, that's really what makes breatharianism possible. But living in the society we live in the times we live in, we've all fucked up our kidneys and bladders. So breatharianism is not a realistic accomplishment unless you're doing urine therapy. Like, you'll never be completely a permanently dry fasted breatharian if you're not doing urine therapy. Urine therapy is absolutely a part of the process. Now, you can get to the point where you're just on liquids without doing urine therapy. You could do the juices, you could do the coconut water, you could do smoothies, you could just give up chewing. You could even do just juices and herbal teas if you wanted to do something like that, like green juices, I don't really recommend fruit juices, at least until you're a decent amount into the fasting process without consuming any fats. But yeah, I mean, you can do it without, you could do that kind of thing and just do a lot of breath work without the urine. But if you really want to have your kidneys and bladder work properly, and you really want to be able to pursue the breatharian path and actually need nothing to live other than sunlight and your breath, you got to drink your pee. You got to drink it, bro. That's it. So check out the How to Breathe course. There's only 5 days left to sign up for one-on-one coaching. I will never be teaching this course one-on-one in person ever again. I will be training people to teach the course. So the course will still be available, and it'll also become a video course. But if you want to learn from me directly and get the free nutrition and fasting guidance from me with the course included, that's not going to happen anymore after 5 days. For anybody who misses the wave on the course, you can also get the How to Breathe ebook 2020 deluxe version. So that'll be available indefinitely, and there'll be more advanced versions as time goes on, as I continue to add to it. There's also going to be more ebooks coming out. There's going to be a whole line of ebooks, and I'm going to come out with a whole textbook eventually. So now, as of now, there's actually 5 ebooks total. So there is that How to Breathe 2020 deluxe version. There's the old version of How to Breathe, Become the Alchemist of Your Own Chemistry, which is a basic version from a year ago. The Death Star to Lifestyle Transition Guide, The Process of Reduction Explained. All technology is designed after the human body. Poisoned is the standard, avoiding toxic products in today's society. And Psychology, studying the cycles, how the study of the cycles affects the human experience. So check out all the ebooks. Check out my online store. I'm also offering disease reversal packages. There's a general disease reversal package, and there's also specific packages for cancer and diabetes. So check out the link in the description. I'm going to put all the links to everything in the descriptions. And follow the Instagram at Grub from the Garden, at GRUB from the Garden. The best grub in the garden is the air. Check out, if you're not viewing this on the YouTube, check out my YouTube, Nick Caputo Breatharian. Make sure you put a like on this video and subscribe if you support what I do. I'm also on TikTok now at grub.from.the.garden. So check out the TikTok for unique content as well. And I'm also on Patreon. So I'm pretty much all over. And Facebook too. Nick Caputo is my page. And then there's the Grub from the Garden page on Facebook. Again, the best grub in the garden is the air. So that's pretty much it for today, guys. Much love. I appreciate you all. Peace.